Hi, it's Paul Wolverton with the Fayetteville Observer. I'm downtown with Kevin Arata, Fayetteville spokesman, to update everyone on the latest regarding the situation with Hurricane Florence and the recovery. Kevin, we're going to move over here so we can see you a little bit better in the light. That's a little bit shaded on you. Can you back up just a little bit more? There, got a little more. Okay, perfect. Thanks. If it's glaring too much, come back toward me. So tell me, Kevin, right now we're downtown on North Cool Spring Street at Adams Street, and what's the situation behind us?
Sure. Well, first to start with, as we were talking a little bit before we went live here, the irony of this is that right behind me here, we just opened a brand new bridge less than a month ago. We did that on the heels 2 years later of Hurricane Matthew, and so here we are now, and the bridge is gone. We hope and pray that that bridge is structural, hasn't been compromised, and then when the floods recede, it can open back up, and we don't have any issues there because we spent a lot of time and money to make this bridge happen and make it open for the public.
Yeah, so I guess that's the thing I was wondering about in terms of even when the roads start reopening or when the water goes down, the bridges might not be safe just yet because you got to assess if they've been undermined or damaged by the waters.
Exactly, which is really why you and I, when we were talking beforehand, to say which spot should we do this at. And if you look behind me and see that road closed sign, clearly nobody's going to go around that. At least nobody with a really big truck or without a really big truck. What we don't want to do is have people go by these signs, because now, while it's visibly clear you can't traverse that, when the waters do recede, it still means there might be some damage behind that, whether it's a bridge that loses its structural integrity, or there's a sinkhole waiting to happen that you pull up upon and find out the wrong way and the hard way. We actually did lose a truck a couple of years ago in Matthew, where went down the road, went around a barricade, and fell into a sinkhole.
Now you're having a problem with people removing barricades, is that right?
We are. We've actually had reports from our police telling us about people going around barricades and moving barricades, and so either of those is not a good idea. We do that for a reason. We do that because police officers, fire, emergency personnel, structural engineers, people with our roads departments are putting them there for a reason, and so until it's moved out, it's not a good idea to move them or go around them. In fact, it's putting yourself and others at risk.
Okay. Now, other things we're going to talk about. Now, you guys are starting to assess the loss and damage. Is that right?
We are. We've got the city divided up into over 120 zones. We went out to about 6 or 7 of them yesterday. It's going to be a long and tedious process. We've got 2-man teams that are going around the city in a very controlled manner, figuring out exactly what's wrong and what needs to be done from an assessment perspective for damages to infrastructure, damages to homes, to figure out how to fix that. Now, the good news is, part of the initial assessment, at least from the initial roads we went through and areas we went through, is it's a heck of a lot less, seemingly, than it was during Hurricane Matthew. But that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, because we haven't even gotten to the crest of the Cape Fear River yet, and we're certainly going to see some flooding with that, which happens at 2 a.m. tonight or this morning.
Now we're on North Cool Spring Street at Adams Street, near the bridge you guys just replaced, and this is Cross Creek behind us, or now I guess Cross Creek Lake you might call it. When the Cape Fear River crests, do you expect the water to push back up this way?
We do, certainly, and it's going to go above Matthew levels, and so that's what we're really waiting to see what happens. There's not much we can do about that except to be prepared. At the city level, we've got the resources we need. At the county level, we've got the resources we need to react and to do the things we can do, but we can't stop the water from coming. What we can do is tell people to stay out of it and stay away from it. And so those who are still in that mandatory evacuation area still need to stay away from that until we've given the all clear to go back. And speaking of the storm water, one of the other messages we really haven't shared a lot, but we'll start talking about now, is it's a beautiful day, it's hot outside, the kids want to get cooled off. This water back here is not a good place to do it. You've got all kinds of unknown things in there from a contamination perspective that can affect you from a health perspective. So letting kids play in the storm water is not a good idea. Certainly can put you at risk of disease and possibly death.
Okay, now in the next coming days, what can people expect?
From our side, from a storm perspective, one, we've still got the cresting of the banks, which will happen at 2 a.m. tonight or late tonight, going into Wednesday. And so really we're in a wait and see mode from there. But again, we're expecting some damage to come through, so we just got to hope and pray that it doesn't. But that next step of what happens after this is done, we're already into the recovery side of things. We can do 2 things at once. We can work on what's going on in the storm, but then look ahead to what's going on next. In fact, just talking with our city manager, Mr. Hewitt, a minute ago, they're meeting now with the debris contractor to figure out what those next steps are to get all the limbs, all the trees, all the construction debris out of the way, because those things we had to deal with in Matthew, and we're pretty good at dealing with it. We're going to do it again. What I can tell you is it's going to take some time. You know, we learned that last time. Because you put limbs out on the side of your road on a Tuesday doesn't mean it's going to be gone on a Wednesday. So what I would recommend as you're looking for places to put those limbs is make sure they're not on a spot in your lawn that you don't want die. You know, don't put them on a lawn and expect them to be gone tomorrow. If you can put them on part of your driveway, do that, but don't put it in the middle of the street because now you're impeding traffic.
So it's going to be some time before they can get to your home to get your debris.
It might take a little bit of time, but
Okay.
in the meantime, rest assured, we're going to pick it up, and that's going to happen. What we need to figure out is, you know, the more you can bag and put into small bags into your brown yard waste cart pickups, we can get that now, and we get that easily. But those larger piles of limbs, that's where we get FEMA involved, and we get reimbursed from FEMA, because this costs on the scale of hundreds of thousands and over $1 million to get this waste picked up. The city gets FEMA reimbursement for that, and we get paid by the tonnage for it. So we'd rather pick that up when we can get FEMA reimbursement, pick the smaller stuff up that we can do now as we do with regular yard waste. So make it small, put it in containers, and then wait for guidance from us on how to do those larger piles.
Okay. Now, you're still doing rescues, is that right?
We are. We had rescues happening in Spring Lake yesterday, so we've been monitoring this from the Emergency Operations Center, and as of this morning at about 7 a.m., we had 82 rescues. 82 individuals were rescued, 10 dogs and 3 cats. But I say that because that's what happened there, and that's just a little river. So imagine now the Cape Fear River, which is not yet crested, and we've got that same possibility going on down here, but we're ready for it.
Well, you know, you had the mandatory evacuation. How many people you think are still, you know, refusing to evacuate, or still in the danger zone?
You know, it's really tough to give a number on that. We just hope that the people have followed those directions and moved out, and they're heeding our warnings that this is potentially a life-threatening situation, and that they're not there.
Well, I was talking to someone yesterday who said that there's a small, low-income neighborhood just across the river. I think it's a trailer park. He said that these people don't even have cars. They don't have much, but they're going to stay there to defend what little they have. Are you guys going to go in and try to warn them again to get out?
Well, I'm sure there's people going around all the time telling people to leave, and all we can do is hope that they do, because if they don't, they're putting themselves in danger.
Okay. And volunteers, is there options for people to volunteer and make donations?
There is, and I see, you know, at the local level, I see a lot of great stuff going on. Churches are opening up shelters, like Manna Church just opened up a shelter to take in 175 people. And they've got that going on. Other churches have done similar things around here. But what I would say, if you want to donate money, you want to donate time, check out nc.gov, or go find a national organization that's looking for money, because money is really the easiest thing to move around to the right place at the right time and get it to those in need. As gracious as offers of truckloads of things are, there does become a logistical challenge. And number one, who takes that, because the Red Cross gets inundated, and 2, where does it go? And then 3, making sure it gets to the right people. So go check out nc.gov. There's a place on there on the right side to donate money, and then down below that there's a place to donate time and very localized help.
Okay. I think that's covered all the points, unless there's something else you think needs to be said.
I just say, tell people to be safe, be cautious, be vigilant for what may come tonight with the cresting of the Cape Fear and those who may be around it, and make sure you're staying clear of these dirty waters behind us.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. This was Kevin Arata, City Spokesman for the City of Fayetteville. This is Paul Wolverton. Thank you for watching. And we got people watching the river.